Unbelievable! Are you looking for a no-nonsense property and business podcast? Our mission is to provide jam-packed content straight to your ears, where we can add value and unpick the fluff in the industry. If this sounds like a bit of you, then strap in and hold tight for an episode with Heidi and Dan.
So here's episode 3 on the Unbelievable Property Podcast for the sales mini-series. So on this episode, I'm going to talk to you a bit about why sales is important in property. Now, on the other episodes, I've talked about how sales is important in everyday life and business, but it's extremely important in property no matter what strategy you're doing. So I've been sourcing for a number of years and sold £1 million worth of property, whether that's individually or co-sourced. And I've been able to do that by utilizing my sales experience and my sales techniques. So there's various different methodologies and techniques, like I say, and I'll touch on some of them in later episodes. But the reason why it's important is because utilizing sales or effective sales methodologies and techniques, you'll be able to negotiate better deals. So it doesn't really matter what strategies you are doing, whether it's rent to rent or you're just going to do a straightforward buy-to-let purchase. So the reason why it's important is because whether you're dealing with a landlord or an agent, you need to be able to understand what the problem is or what the motivation is for that seller. So, for example, I've managed to secure various properties below market value, being able to refurbish and refinance and pull all the money out for myself and my business partner on a few deals, as well as doing it for other investors. Now, being able to do that, and what I will say is none of these deals have been done via estate agents. They've all been direct to vendor. And the reason why I think that's important is you want to be able to get to the seller. And I'm going to talk about sourcing in these few, but like I said, if it's rent to rent, you're still dealing with the landlord, for example. So the reason why it's important to get to the actual seller is because you can understand their motivation and what is driving them to sell. And in this day and age, there's various reasons why people are selling. So it could be divorce, could be death, could be people who've inherited the property and they just want to liquidate it and take the money. But there's also various other reasons like moving abroad or like Section 24 landlord tax, for example. So there's various different motivations on why people are looking to sell. So firstly, understanding the motivation and speaking directly with the landlord on why they are selling. So you want to understand what their timeframes are, what the reason for selling is, how much money they want to get out of it. Is the property encumbered or unencumbered at the minute? Because that can help your offer. If they own the property outright and they want a quick sale, then they don't have a mortgage to pay off. So there's no issues later down the line. And some people get burnt because when you do sell a property, it will say as well, does the property have a mortgage on it? And is the offer going to clear that? Now, if you offer to help someone out of a bad situation, maybe they're in sort of arrears or in financial difficulties, if you get all the way through to the legal part and sell the property and that money doesn't clear the mortgage, then there will be further issues that arise later on. So the reason why sales is important, like I say, is understanding the motivation, because the more information you get up front, you can then tailor and put forward your best offer that will meet what they are wanting and what you are wanting. Remember, sales, what everybody wants is a win-win, a great outcome for you and a great outcome for the landlord. And it's important to do it ethically as well. So what you don't want to do is, basically go in there and offer them something really stupid that's not going to help them in any way. But because they're in a bad position or situation, they feel forced that they have to take it as it's the only way out. It has to be a win-win for everyone. As much information as you can get up front from qualifying it, and it's important as well. Whilst you're doing this and asking these questions, it's showing empathy and showing that you're understanding their situation and showing that you are somebody coming from a good place, and then from that you start to build a relationship and that rapport, and then they get to like, know and trust you, and that's important. Once they like, know and trust you, and I've said before, people buy from people. So once you're able to do that, you can take all of that information and you can use that to formulate your offer. As well, it might be a case of if you're trying to negotiate a lease option, for example, people say it's £1 consideration fee. We all understand that, but they may need 30, 40 grand. They might need some money out of their property. Or if you're negotiating a straight purchase on a buy to let, they only might need 20 grand. So you may be able to change your offer into a purchase lease option and give them some money up front and take that off the end value and obviously lease that property for a period of time. So getting as much information up front as you possibly can from the landlord means that you'll have more options further down the line to put forward a proposal and an offer to the landlord. So like I say, instead of just a straight purchase, it might be opportunities for assisted sales, purchase lease options. So getting as much information up front as you can means that you have a more of an opportunity and a chance to secure that property for a specific desired strategy. Thanks for listening. Tune in for the next episode.
Unbelievable! Thank you for joining us this week. We hope we added value to your day. Stay tuned and see you next time for another Humberleavable episode. See you next time.